Welcome everyone. We just barely got it together. So we're starting a little bit late, so thank you for your patience. Let's just take a moment before we begin just to kind of connect to the essence of what we're trying to do here. Connecting to the principle of infinite light. So just take a couple deep breaths and have your intention to connect to the energy of this event and to the entire idea, concept, the reality of endless light. No beginning, no end, no middle. And also let's take this time to connect with Swamiji and Lakshmi and also each other. So this is a time to connect to grace, but grace comes from all directions, and we don't want to forget when it's coming from things that we might not ordinarily point to and look at that as a grace in our life. So there's lots of wonderful things. The fact that the sun is still shining is a grace. If that were just to go out and the planet would freeze over, that would be the end, you know. So there's a lot of grace at play. When you have anyone positive in your life, that's a grace. Even when you have difficulties and negative situations, that's also a grace. It gives you an opportunity to grow. So, like we were talking about yesterday, when you have that mindset, that infinite positivity, anything that's going to happen feels like it's just a grace. Like it's just like life is just handing you the opportunity to evolve left and right. And it doesn't have to obey the boundaries of whether or not it's comfortable. So that's what makes the spiritual path a possibility, because in our life we seek comfort anyway. And it's harder to see how to grow through the difficulties. So the spiritual path is about embracing all aspects of life and saying, this is my opportunity to grow, my opportunity to maintain positivity in whatever the situation, which is obviously, as we all know, as human beings, not easy. But we have an ability to constantly attune to and try to represent the quality of life that we would like to see in ourselves, in life in general, and constantly be that. So, so we also want to be grateful for each other. You could just be doing things like this alone, which is fun, but if you only do stuff alone and nobody on the planet believes in what you're doing, you'll probably have a little bit of trouble believing in what you're doing. It kind of ends to be like that, you know, ends up that way. So in this sense, whenever you see someone who, you know, they say something like, I believe that we can all be positive, you know, that we can all grow from all situations. And when you're around a friend that believes like that, it kind of like says, yeah, I believe that way too. And then it has this way of reinforcing that positive spiritual strength that is within you. But if everyone around you said there's no reason, there's no point to do anything, you'd be just fighting a constant current of negativity that feels like it's just washing you backwards. So yeah, just had a deja vu moment. Not because we've had these many times. But anything in particular I think we need to know? So just a couple brief things, just so you know, I'm not going to go through all of this, but everything that we're going to offer is kind of a process of us offering to ourselves. You might not understand what you really are. That's the question mark of our own being. You don't really know your origin. You don't really know who you are. You just know your body. You know your mood swings, and you know your mind, your concepts, you know your history, you know what your sensory system has shown you, you know lots of ideas and other experiences of whatever the type of consciousness that might point to something eternal or subtle. But you don't really know the absolute truth. So in a sense, in any tradition, you're pointing to something, but we don't really know what we're pointing to. We try to understand and we try to integrate, we try to see it. And the more that we can see it as universal principle, the less that it's kind of able to be defeated by form and time. And therefore, emotional forms don't defeat the principle, the reality. Conceptual forms don't, and sensory experiences in life, directions that we take, right or wrong, nothing seems to be able to bring down something that is not existing within this kind of experience that we always have within kind of the realm of name and form. So within the realm of name and form, we typically refer to that as sagun, which means worshiping God with form, because we can relate to that. If you wanted to, if I said, I have someone I want you to meet, you said, great, who is it? Oh, well, you know, they're nowhere but everywhere. And you're like, okay, well, that doesn't help me. So, I mean, maybe it does, but you probably think that doesn't really help me out. So next time, if you could be more serious, I'd appreciate it. But so that would be kind of pointing to nirgun. And even that's saying too much. Nir is without. Gun means like form, guna. So without form. Pointing to the ultimate reality that you're looking for, that none of us can point to because it has no form and location, makes it like very hard. So then these are practiced around sagun, which means with, sa, with, gun, guna, form. So when we are worshipping sagun, which is said to be really all you can do, because you can't just make up no form, because then it's an object called no form, but that's not actually no form. So we do sagun practice, or worship God with form, because our minds deal with form. Our emotions are forms, emotional forms, mental forms, sensory forms. Everything you smell is a form. Everything you see is a form. Whether it's a vibration or it's an actual seeming object, you just interpret forms constantly. So then to try to take what you have experienced and look at it in a bigger way is typically how you try to reflect the mind, the heart, the soul into that kind of divine direction. So when we are trying to build our mind's flow in that direction, we have to think about it, we have to relate to it, we have to kind of commune or communicate with it. We have to find some way of relating. And if it's a quote-unquote person you've never met, you know, so to speak, or the infinite reality you've never met, then we have to try to find a way to make this relationship work. You're basically forming a relationship with something you don't understand. And you're forming it with yourself, which is something you also don't fully understand. You know, we're a mystery to ourselves, and so is the cosmos, so we don't fully understand. So all of the things that we offer actually stretch deep into us, and they're pointing to very kind of endless principles. And it's kind of beyond the words of it. So akshay, like the rice, means kind of indestructible bond. Indestructible, that which is indestructible. Bond is probably not the right term, but that which is indestructible. So that's supposed to be you. You're indestructible. Doesn't seem like that with the body, because it can be destroyed. The concept can be destroyed. Emotions can be destroyed. Your life can be destroyed. So many things can be destroyed. But there's some aspect, which is your true reality, which is indestructible. And that's what we're trying to focus on. So everything that we're offering, it would take a long time to go over each one, but they're all meaning something really deep and profound. So when you do something that is consecrated or blessed, I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but Blessed means someone who knows is kind of authorizing the process. So we have the grace of Swamiji, one who sees you as the divine. He doesn't see you as less than him. He sees you as your fullest potential. He sees you as you do not see yourself. You see you as a little you that can live and die. He sees you beyond that. And so when there's a being like that that is not limited by the normal dictates of mind, emotion, concept, and personal experience, it opens up things profoundly. So it's kind of similar to this. If you don't believe in yourself, and I join in and say, I also don't believe in you, it feels really negative. You don't have any hope, and it's like it's all crashing. But if you say you don't believe in yourself, and I say, why? I believe in you. I think you're amazing. You can do this. Then you're like, oh, maybe I can. It starts to reverse the flow. And to be around a person, even if that's unspoken, where you feel like they just support you, they naturally, inherently see how you're amazing and you can do it, you can accomplish. Even if they don't say it, you just feel like it just makes sense that it's possible. You kind of get the energy, the vibe from it. So to be around an enlightened being is to be around someone who always believes in you and who doesn't believe in the nonsense that we get stuck in every single day of our life. And it always sees you as your fullest potential, actualized. That's why it's also called self-actualization, or enlightenment, or self-realization. They see you as your true form, or formless reality. You see you as your body, your life, the events, the history, the psychology, the emotional states. You see yourself as the amalgamation of sensory experience. So it's nice to have somebody who doesn't buy into the drama that is our life, that can see through it and see you as infinite peace, infinite love, infinite joy, infinite grace, infinite goodness, infinite everything you can think of that you'd want to be. They see you as that. And everything you don't want to be, they see that as just a temporary state that you can break out of and experience yourself as you actually are. So they're like the ultimate... I don't know what word to use. Cheerleader doesn't sound right, but I'll say it anyway. They're like the ultimate cheerleader. So they're constantly supporting you. They think you can do it. You're amazing. Everything that you consider a big obstacle, they're like, it's nothing. Just keep walking. You can do this. So that's the kind of relationship with the divine that we're trying to form, whether it's through a particular enlightened being or an idea of a deity, or you don't have anything and it's more natural, kind of like some idea of the nature that built this kind of realm, but you have your own idea of what that is. It's all fine. In this tradition, you're going to have your own concept, because all concepts point back to the origin somehow. So then all these things that we offer, the intention is, when they're blessed, because let's just take one step back. If we offer rice and it's just rice, it's kind of more of an odd looking thing, because why is this guy putting rice on a rock? This is interesting, on a pyramid. That's about what it comes down to. But if you know the symbolism, and it's also energized by one who knows the symbolism, not by concept, but by they experience that reality, so it becomes a consecrated event, which Swamiji, of course, has given his blessings for this process that we're all a part of right now. Then all of these things start to stand on their own to represent the eternal principles, which is what you're looking for anyway. So the kumkum represents your eternal Shakti, your eternal power. That's this red stuff. I can't tilt it, it's got water. The red stuff. So sugar represents sweetness, like feeling life to be eternally sweet regardless of what happens. It's just somehow magically sweet. It's just perfect as it is. Chandanam, or sandalwood paste or powder, it's more pointing to the fragrance that it is. So you're supposed to live your life where you're like the fragrance of a flower. It's not trying to emit or make people smell it. Like, see how good I am. See how great I am. It's just being its lovely self, and it radiates this smell naturally. And then everyone is left kind of transfixed on something more positive. That's the idea. So everything has a very important role that we offer. So Water represents a lot of things, depends on what the purpose is. Sometimes you'll hear it stated as all the holy rivers or the Ganga, or it depends kind of on the puja, but a lot of times that's the way. But it can also represent just your energy, your mind, your emotions. They're like currents of energy. You know, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. It's like a current of attentional flow. So dharana is like, the water is usually the symbol where it breaks as little beads. That's like if you're focusing on the divine and you just can't focus there, it's like you're getting distracted. That's you attempting meditation. So it's like dharana. It's an attempt. You're doing it, but it's hard. Dhyan would be where it's like oil, which, this is it, I think. So when you pour that, it is viscous and it's like a stream. So you want that perfect, pure, conscious attention on the divine principles where it's unbroken. So to truly submerge in the divine, to offer yourself to, as the saying goes, as a salt doll walks into the ocean, it completely submerges. You can't go back and pick out the particles and put it back together. And if you did, it'd be a different being. So we're trying to submerge in this ultimate reality. It's not about like hating your life and wanting a redo. It's about learning where things are right, how things are good, how you've got it the way that you need it to be, and things can continue to change and brighten. But everything that we offer is a way of activating these principles, which I'm not going through all of them. But the light, at least I should mention, since that's here, and this is Diwali. The light is, I was saying this yesterday, it's like a representation of consciousness. It lights up so you can see things. That's why there's so much symbolism. In a lot of traditions, candles are used, if you haven't noticed, or fire pits, and whether from the hippies to the Vedantins to whomever. But fire is often used because it's a way of showing that luminosity that you are. You are pure, bright light, pure consciousness, vibrancy. And when you feel that in you, your life is vibrant. So we are trying to not connect with a little fire. We're trying to use this as a symbol to connect to our endless fire, our endless divine fire, if you want to call it that. Seems like Terry has got on. So the coconut, just because this is going to be something that people are going to ask, what did you just do? So we're going to throw a coconut off the balcony just for fun. But this represents, just for fun. This represents the hardened, kind of patterned self. So you're so in yourself, you don't even know what out is. You wouldn't know what it is to just be someone else. If you tried, you'd be you trying to be someone else. Like, you just don't know what it is to not be yourself. That's like this hardened conditioning. And if you don't experience joy, sweetness, goodness, love, tenderness, softness, all of these things all of the time, endlessly, then that means that you're stuck kind of limiting the sweetness from coming out somehow. This hardened mass is in the way. So we crack the coconut, we toss it off of a balcony, and we have the goodness come out. This is a way of stating, like, enough of this like dry, hardened, kind of rough exterior of self. Let's have all that is sweet and good come out, and let that dominate my life. Let's let that be what I live as. So when we crack the coconut, many times it's done in the beginning of an event. It's a way of kind of, bringing that energy, that intention into our life, and also kind of opening up the energetic connection with whatever the festival is or the processes that you're a part of. There's many ways you can imprint the coconut or bless the coconut for whatever the purpose is. So it's not just one coconut is like all the others. They're all different. So that's a big topic. So another one, just real quickly, is sound represents the vibration. Everything in life is just a vibration. It may have amalgamated and look like a form that's very solid, but it's still at the base just vibrating. Everything is vibrating. Your thoughts are vibrating. Your emotions are vibrating. Your consciousness is vibrating. Everything, not the pure consciousness, but what you know it to be. So everything is just what you're used to experiencing. All that you've ever experienced is just vibration. but you're just feeling it partially and calling it by names and forms. So when we kind of ring the bell, that is symbolic, and also when consecrated, bringing that attunement possibility to look back at form as just vibration, look back at the mind as just vibration, look back at your emotions as just vibration. And then the real interesting idea is, at least with your mind and emotions, what built these vibrations? Well, your mind. So if you can build them, you can unbuild them. So it gives you that ability, that confidence of, oh, okay, so my mind made this idea. My mind can erase this idea and instead replace it with this one that I'd rather have constantly in my mind. So anyway, I can keep going for a long time, as you see. So I'm going to stop so we can begin the festivities. But it's important to have some, at least, understanding of the process. So it's not just to do something because something spiritual should happen. It's literally deepening your understanding. And when it's not consecrated, it's still a beautiful thing. But when it is consecrated, it's kind of like all the little gizmos or dynamos deep within you that you just don't know how to turn on. The idea when it's a consecrated puja is that when you offer one thing, it's like that little dynamo is being turned on. And then they can go back to bed. So you got to like keep it going, but and you're turning this one on, and then you're turning this one on. There's a gazillion ways to talk about this, but in a sense, let's just say this represents the eternal truth, which also is you, that you can call God if you don't feel like that applies to you. You can look at this as representing the eternal. This is no more God than everything else in the cosmos, so we're not saying that this is and nothing else is. We're saying that this represents everything. So when we make these offerings, it's like you're taking all of these things and you're saying, I would like to develop this. So it's like your lower self has an intention to develop. It says, I would like to develop this. And you're offering it to, you can call it your higher self. And you take this and you're like, I would like to develop in this way. Thank you very much. So it's a continual process of stoking your own fire. And that's what we're doing here. When we offer something like food, actually the real meaning, there's a couple of ways of relating, but the real meaning symbolically is that your whole body is made of food. So it's like offering your body. You're built from stuff, food stuff. It's literally called, you can call it the food stuff body, but it's called Annamaya Kosha, which means the body of grains. Everything is called something. Pranamaya Kosha, body of energy. Manomaya Kosha, body of mind things. There's more, but so when we offer this bhognavedyam, we're offering our body, and usually you have more of a spread. So we have this, and we have sugar treats. You can relate also as the deity or the divine presence as a beingness that you're trying to make a formal personal relationship to also. There is a place for that. It will be much more personally meaningful to you than just a cosmic, abstract, non-form relationship that you're trying to perceive. Having a formed relationship where it has more of something that you can relate to, like that's why these are here, Lakshmi as a form. This is not just Lakshmi, this is all of the divine forces, all the feminine, divine feminine, called the Shri Yantra. So Yantra is just it's a lot of ideas of what that means, but let's just say everything is so interwoven that the power is everywhere. So that's probably a more healthy way of looking at it. It also gets translated as like a vehicle for transcension, but that means to see it as it is really the way to do it. And these forms kind of are trying to point to how there's nothing independent. They're all moving parts of the same system, same vehicle, same manifestation. So however you want to relate in Vedantic way is usually looked at as totally fine. There's no problem. But the idea is if you're going to relate with the divine in one aspect, see that aspect everywhere. Just don't make it so tiny. So you want to see God as infinite love, find God in the tree leaves, find God in the light, find God in the moon, find God as love, Find love in the air, find love in the wild animals, find love in your family, find love in yourself. Don't let it stop somewhere. Don't let there be partitions or barriers. If you want to find God as love, then find love everywhere. You have to let it be infinite because God is infinite. So that's the trick with making it more spiritual. So we're going to do the entire puja. It's kind of an abridged thing, but we're going to go through the process of kind of invoking or allowing for this reality that has always existed, will always exist, whether or not we, as we know ourselves to be, exists. It will always be. And we're just allowing for that to be more easily sensed in our life. So we're just opening up to things. So each thing that we're offering it's kind of like a way to attune to more important principles. It's kind of looked at it this way. Your mind is going somewhere, always. It's either going up or it's going down. And anything you find where it's kind of neutral, that just means it's undecided. You don't know where to go. Why not always go up to feel more positivity? So why wouldn't you always want the mind to expand and feel more positivity and love? It's only because we don't know how to keep the focus that strong, that steady. So then puja is just simply coming from that understanding, pap and pun. So punya is an action that is done of uplifting action, something that you are doing, engaging in, or a way of thinking, a way of relating, a way of feeling that is uplifted, looking towards the highest reality. Pap would be the opposite. It's kind of looking at something in a negative, small way and not really seeing its place in the cosmos. So we do both of these things. So no one's exempt. It's how the mind is built from these two principles. So we're just training the mind and the heart to uplift and focus on what is meaningful. And so that's why all spiritual traditions have a lot of symbolism, if you haven't seen. A ton of symbolism. And there's a big reason for that, and it's kind of what I was pointing to. Okay. So even if you don't know what we're doing, just have an intention to connect to the energetic kind of background intention of what we're doing. That's probably what everyone should do anyway. It doesn't really matter what it is that we're offering. You just have an intention to connect to it, and you'll kind of get the blessing effect from it. Like this.
You need coconut.
Oh, break the coconut first. Who wants to break a coconut? Who has good aim, I should ask.
Kristen has good aim.
Do you want these lit, Asia?
Are they part of the project? I think we can light them. You can light them right
Okay.
whenever you want. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there you
light
go.
some. You know.
Oh, they're sparkly.
Sparkly.
Oh.
They are. They have sparkles in them.
Kelly, if you would, can you, the air conditioner is right out the hallway. Turn it off. Yeah, I don't know
Sorry
if
that
all of the
bag is
candles
on
will
the
stay
wall.
lit with this.
All that glitters is gold.
Can so she can get through the door. Just push it a little bit more that way. And then also I'm reading the mother, and then we'll start the puja.
Okay.
I wonder if I should leave it down.
It's okay. Yeah,
Should I can put it up.
whatever you like. Yeah. We could put them up here if you want. I'll just put things over here. They're so pretty. I'll just like stick them right here or something. You can be part of it. They're so beautiful.
Hey.
There you go.
Okay, one good point also to say is that when we are doing this sort of thing, we're all doing it together. Like this is a sadhana that we're all performing together. So There's no leaders in sanghas. There's just simply interested people in development, and that's all that we're doing together. So Isha wanted me to read something.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to read the whole thing, or just a bit?
Just that little part.
It's a big part.
Lakshmi. It's so nice.
Okay.
And then we can start after that.
So
Immediately after.
some may have already heard this. Probably everyone has already heard this. But this is from writings from Sri Aurobindo, which is, he was writing about him and his companion, known as the mother. They were, I'm not actually sure who wrote this. It might have been a collection of the two. So I don't want to say one or the other, but so this is where the topic of what is Shakti, what is the divine feminine, and so it's a vast subject. And in short, which is not really how you want to treat the topic, but in short, there are, hello,
Oh no, he just touched the...
you touched something. Oh, okay, it's that. So the Shakti means kind of the entire divine feminine, so the infinite, endless power. And in this tradition, it's called the divine feminine, but the divine consciousness and the divine energy, the energy is usually referred to as the divine feminine, and the consciousness is looked at as divine masculine. But in actual part of this tradition, they are not looked at as separate at all. So the separation happens to try to make sense of archetypes and try to make sense of things within the mind of people. So they're looked at as technically identical, though the roles that are played obviously are different, if from physicality to emotionality to mentality to personality to everything. So then there are different aspects of this divine Shakti. One is referred to as Maheshwari, and this is so vast that you can't comprehend it. It's kind of like what I was saying before. If I said, hey, I have this being that I want you to meet, they're great. Like, sure, can I meet them? And I said, yeah. Well, they're kind of nowhere and everywhere. They have no name and have no form, and you're not going to find them, but they're always with you. Like, what? So that vastness, which is impossible to really understand, is referred to as Maheshwari. So it's beyond the forms as you would ever know it. It's beyond your emotional forms, it's beyond your mental forms, it's beyond your psychic consciousness, all those different forms. Therefore, you can't locate it, because it's kind of like, if you want to say it this way, it'd be like the grid that exists prior to your manifestation. So like you're like the clay that's built, but it's like pre-clay. It's like it's the space that allows your clay to be molded. It's like beyond what you know yourself to be. And so you're in this realm interpreting life, and it's way beyond. So you can't reach back into that. So that's Maheshwari. It gets honored, but not many times worshipped, because it's confusing. If you're really going to get into the tradition and understand what it is, it gets very confusing. So the next one down is Mahakali. So this is extreme force. Not in force as our moody force, not that force. But this is the force that kind of burns away all the impediments and brings you up to the highest divine standard, so that you can get closer to Maheshwari and actually understand what that is. But you have to burn away all the littleness of mind, littleness of emotion and personality, so that you can be clean enough to even get close to that divine experience of Maheshwari. So the next one is Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi is, kind of what we're talking about today. We're doing Lakshmi Puja. So this is the meaning, the essence, kind of what you would call the value of life, like why you'd want to live. You want to live for the beauty, for the joy, for all the wonderful things in life, for what you're grateful for all the happy experiences, for the sweetness, the softness, the goodness. Those are the things that you really want to live for. And if you think you don't want to live for it because you think you want to be on the dark side, so to speak, just imagine if you had people around you just poking at you, making fun of you, making you feel horrible all the time. You instantly would start reevaluating what you really want. So some people like that peppered into their life, but the truth is what you really want is everyone and everything to treat you and support you sweetly, lovingly, take care of you, be with you, be present to you, honor you, value you. And when you have that with you, it makes life feel so blessed and important. Without that, you feel like, why do I have these people around me? I don't understand. Like your mind goes the other direction because you're like, my life has no value, no worth. So Mahalakshmi would be that principle of deep value. So deep that we don't even understand the depth. We understand like a little pinprick of the universe, and that would be that quality. Mahasaraswati is where things are designed very well, organized, put together, but different from obsessive compulsive mind, different from those kind of lower mental qualities where we're fighting hard to make something good. This is goodness itself creating perfection. This is very different from perfection complex where we don't feel perfect and we're trying to make up for a lot of insecurities and try to make something really good so no one sees our insecurities. So Mahasaraswati is not insecure. So it's a divine reality that manifests everything perfectly because that is her nature, to make things perfect. So this is just taking off from Maheshwari, Mahakali, and then going into Mahalakshmi. I'm not going to read Mahasaraswati because that comes after, and I'm not reading the other two, so we're just starting here. So wisdom, or that vastness that you can't comprehend, that's Maheshwari. Force is Mahakali. Wisdom and force are not the only manifestations of the Supreme Mother. There is a subtler mystery of her nature, and without it, wisdom and force would be incomplete things, and without it, perfection would not be perfect. Above them is the miracle of eternal beauty, an unseizable secret of divine harmonies, the compelling magic of an irresistible universal charm and attraction that draws and holds things and forces and beings together and obliges them to meet and unite, that a hidden ananda, or bliss, objectless ecstasy, may play from behind the veil and make of them its rhythms and its figures. This is the power of Mahalakshmi. And there is no aspect of the divine Shakti more attractive to the heart of embodied beings. Maheshwari can appear too calm and great and distant for the littleness of earthly nature to approach or contain her. Mahakali too swift and formidable for its weakness to bear. But all turn with joy and longing to Mahalakshmi, for she throws the spell of the intoxicating sweetness of the divine. To be close to her is a profound happiness, and to feel her within the heart is to make existence a rapture and a marvel. Grace and charm and tenderness flow out from her like light from the sun, and wherever she fixes her wonderful gaze or lets fall the loveliness of her smile, the soul is seized and made captive and plunged into the depths of the unfathomable bliss. Magnetic is the touch of her hands, and their hidden and delicate influence refines the mind, life, and body, and where she presses her feet course miraculous streams of an entrancing bliss. And yet it is not easy to meet the demand of this enchanting power or to keep her presence. Harmony and beauty of the mind and soul. Harmony and beauty of the thoughts and feelings. Harmony and beauty in every outward act and movement. Harmony and beauty in the life and surroundings. This is the demand of Mahalakshmi. Where there is affinity to the rhythms of the secret world bliss, in response to the call of the all-beautiful, in concord and unity and glad flow of many lives turned towards the divine. In that atmosphere she consents to abide. But all that is ugly and mean, base, all that is poor and sordid and squalid, all that is brutal and coarse repels her advent. Where love and beauty are not, or are reluctant to be born, she does not come. Where they are mixed and disfigured with baser things, she turns soon to depart and cares little to pour her riches. If she finds herself in men's hearts surrounded with selfishness, hatred, and jealousy, with malignance and envy and strife, if treachery and greed and ingratitude are mixed in the sacred chalice, if grossness of passion and unrefined desire degrade devotion, In such hearts the gracious and beautiful goddess will not linger. A divine disgust seizes upon her, and she withdraws. For she is not one who insists or strives, or veiling her face, she waits for this bitter and poisonous devil's stuff to be rejected and disappear before she will be found anew with her happy influence. So it goes on for a bit. But that's the kind of the remedy to life, where people feel like life is worth living. When you feel that everything is just a magical, tender sweetness. Even when coarse and rough things arise, it doesn't feel like that to you. It feels like everything is so beautifully orchestrated. So you don't see the negativity that a normal mind would see. You see just this beautiful opportunity for development and growth, and how gracious you feel that you've been given this opportunity to develop in this lifetime. So yeah.
सर्वदेवनं दुःखयं प्रतिगृह्यतम् ॐ श्रीं लक्ष्मीये नमः धूपं समर्पयामि ॐ चन्द्रदित्यो च धारिणी विद्युद अग्निस्तथैव च त्वमेव सर्वज्योतिषीं मारत्रिकं प्रतिगृह्यतम् ॐ श्रीं लक्ष्मीये नमः आरात्रिकं समर्पयामि ॐ पय पृथिव्यं पय औषधेषु पय दिव्यन्तरिक्षे पयोदः पय स्वस्ति प्रदिश्य सन्तु मह्यम् ॐ अग्निर्देवता वतो देवता सूर्यो देवता चन्द्रमा देवता वासवो देवता रुद्रो देवता दित्यदेवता मारुतो देवता विश्वदेव देवता विश्वदेवतेन्द्रो देवता वरुणो देवता Om, the divine fire is the shining God, the wind is the shining God, the sun, the moon, the protectors of wealth, the relievers of suffering, the sons of light, the emancipated seers, the shining gods, the universal shining gods. The Lord of waters is the shining God, Guru of the gods is the shining God, the ruler of gods is the shining God. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om. And for purification of the chakras, you will put your hands together, fingers together, and starting at the root, Om Bhuv, and then moving up, Om Bhuva, Om Swaha, Om Maha, Om Jana, Om Tapa, Om Satyam, and then hands in prayer, Om Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Apo Jyotirasumritam Brahma Bhurбhuvah Swaram Om Mamale Mahamaye Sarva Shakti Swarupini Chaturvarnasya Inyastas Tasvam Me Siddhida Bhava. Mama Siddhaye Om Akshamalabhipate Sushirim Dehi Devi Sarva Mantrartha Sadhini Sadhaya Sadhaya Sarva Siddhim Parikalpaya Parikalpaya Me Swaha. Eteganna Pushpe Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Adityadi Navagrahebhyo Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Shivadi Panchadevatabhyo Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Indradi Dashadikpalebhyo Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Matsyadi Dashavatarebhyo Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Prajapataye Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Namo Narayanaya Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Sarvabhyo Devebhyo Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Shri Gurave Namaha Eteganna Pushpe Om Brahmanebhyo Namaha. Keshavaya Namaha Swaha Om Madhavaya Namaha Swaha Om Govindaya Namaha Swaha Om Vishnu Om Vishnu Om Vishnu. And so you'll take your draw a triangle on the floor in front of you and then place a bindu or a dot in the center of the triangle to purify the seat, the physical seat, the subtle seat, the seat of consciousness. Om Asanasaya Namaha Mantrasya Me Prishta Shri Shri Sutalam earth. O earth, you support the realms of the goddess. You are supported by the supreme consciousness. Also bear me eternally and make pure this seat. Om Prithvi Tvaya Dhrita Loka Devi Tvam Vishnuna Dhrita Tvam Shadharaya Mam Nityam Bhagvidritam Guru Chasanam. Om Guru Bhyo Namaha, honoring all the gurus. Om Paramurubhyo Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Para Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Paramishti Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Gam Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Anantaya Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Cham Gaye Viche. Om Namah Shivaya. And then to purify the atmosphere, we'll say Om Shri Lakshmi Namaha and clap 3 times. And then also purifying in all the 10 directions, you'll snap your fingers. So first clapping 3 times. Om Shri Lakshmi Namaha. 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 So now we come to the sankalp, or the intention. So Brian will actually have the flowers and the rice, and you can set your intention, and we'll offer that to the Murti. Vishnu Om Tat Sat Om Adya Jabudhipe Merkadeshe California Pradeshe Ohai Nagare Nagar Mandire November Mashe, and then you'll say your name out loud. You can say it out loud. Shri Lakshmi Kama Shri Lakshmi Sahasranama Puja Karmaham Karishye. You with offerings, O guardian of treasure, sit within me, giving birth to the realm of the gods within me. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe, Priyanam Tva Priyapati Gum Havamahe, Nidinam Tva Nidipati Gum Havamahe, Vaso Mama Aham Majani Garbadam, Tva Majasi Garbadam. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe, Kavim Kavinam Brahmashravastamam Jyestarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Rashrinvanmukti Vihi Siddhasadanam. O Mother of the perceivable universe and the conceivable universe, Mother of the universe of intuitive vision, lead me to that true existence. As excellent crops or grains are harvested, so may I be taken to reside within the infinite consciousness. Om Ambe Ambike Ambe Ambalike Namanayati Kashana Sashtaya Swaka Subhadrikam Kampilavashinim. Om Shanta Dyo Shanta Prithve Shantam Idar Purvantariksham Shanta Rupa Tirapah Shantana Shampusadi. Om Shantani Purva Rupani Shantam Nustu Krita Kritam Shantam Bhutam Cha Bhavyam Cha Sarvameva Samastuna. Om, let the earth be at peace, the atmosphere, the heavens. Even further may peace extend. Peace be to the waters, to to all vegetation, to all gods within us, to creative consciousness, to brilliant light, peace to all, to everything, equally peace by means of peace. Om Prithvi Shantirantariksham Shantirdhyo Shantirapaha Shantiroshadhayaha Shantirvanaspatayaha Shantirvishve me Deva Shanti Sarvam me Deva Shantirbrahma Shantirapaha Shanti Sarvam Shanti Redi Shanti Shanti Sarva Shanti Sama Shanti Shanti Vihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe sarvashakti cha dhimahi tanno devi prachodayat. Om. We meditate on the great goddess of true wealth. May we contemplate she who embodies all energy, and may that goddess grant us increase. And so we'll do a cleansing of the hands together. So you'll touch your thumb to forefinger. Om Sham Angustabhyam Namaha. Om Shrim Tarjanibhyam Swaha. Thumb to middle. Om Shrim Madhyamabhyam Vashat. Thumb to ring. Om Shrim Anamikabhyam Ham. Thumb to little. Om Shram Kanistikabhyam Vashat. You roll your hands forward. Om Shakaratakara. Other way. Prishtabhyam Ashraya. Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. And then touching the heart. Om Shram Hridayaya Namaha. Top of the head. Om Shrim Shirase Swaha. Back of the head. Om Shram Shikaya Vashat. Crossing both of the arms. Om Shrim Kavachaya Hum. Touching the three eyes. Om Shram Nitratrayaya Vashat. Rolling the hands over forward. Om Shrakaratakara. Other way. Prishtabhyam Ashtaya. Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. So now we'll sing the 8 verses of in praise of Mahalakshmi, dwelling place of the highest respected wealth, worshipped by all divine beings. O infinite container of consciousness, we bow to you. To you who holds the conch shell, the discus and the mace in your hands, to the great goddess of true wealth, we bow. Granter of perfection and intelligence, giver of enjoyment and liberation, wearing mantra as your form, to the great goddess of true wealth, we bow. Knower of all, granter of all wishes, instilling the fear of all evil, the goddess who takes away all pain, to the great goddess of true wealth, we bow. Without beginning or end, O goddess, the primordial energy, the great seer of all, who dwells always in union, who is born of union, to the great goddess of true wealth, we bow. Namaste Garudharude, Kola Sura Bhayankari, Sarva Papa Hare Devi, Mahalakshmi Namostute, Sarvam Ye Sarvavarade, Sarva Dushta Bhayankari, Sarva Dukkha Hare Devi, Mahalakshmi Namostute. Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi, Bhukti Mukti Pradayini, Mantra Putte Sada Devi, Mahalakshmi Namostute. Mahalakshmi Namostute. Padmasanasthite Devi Parabrahma Swarupini Parameshi Jagannata Mahalakshmi Namostute. Svetambaradhari Devi Nanalankara Bhushite Jagatstite Jagannata Mahalakshmi Namostute. Mahalakshmi Namostute. Mahalakshmi Namostute. So now we've come to the offerings. First, an offering of a foot bath to Mahalakshmi.
This one. Wait, what is
Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. Padyam Samarpayami. And so Brian is offering on behalf of all of us. Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. Payasnanam Samarpayami. Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. Kritasnanam Samarpayami. Honey,
It's gonna come out.
is it stuck?
Just go.
Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. Madhusnanam Samarpayami. Sugar. Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. Sharkara Snanam Samarpayami. Water.
Is this the Ganga?
Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. Ganga Snanam Samarpayami. See you. Padma-pushpe Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. So now we're going to do 108 of Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha together, chanting, and we'll offer flowers for each one. Maybe offer at the bottom or something. Om Shrim Lakshmi Namaha. 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 Lakshmiye Namaha. Om Shrim 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 Lakshmiye Namaha. Difficulties, exposer of goodness, cause of peace, infinite consciousness, beloved by knowers of consciousness, all the inhabitants of all the worlds always bow to her, and I am bowing to goodness herself. Durgam Shivam Shanti Karim Brahmanim Brahmana Priyam Sarvaloka Pranetrincha Pranamami Sada Shivam Mangalam Shobhanam Shodham Nishkalam Paramam Kalam Vishveshwarim Vishwamatam Chandikam Pranamamyaham Sarvadeva Mayim Devim Sarvaroga Bhayapaham Brahmesha Vishnu Namitam Pranamami Sada Shivam Vindyastam Vindhyanilayam Divyastana Nivashinim Yoginim Yogagyaninim Chandikam Pranamamyaham Ishana Mataram Devim Ishvarim Ishvara Priyam Pranatosmi Sada Durgam Samsara Navatarini Om Mahadeva Mahatrana Mahayogi Maheshwara Sarva Papa Haram Deva Makaraya Namo Nama Om Namah Shivaya Shantaya Karanatraya Hetave Nivedaya Michatmanam Tvam Gati Parameshwara Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhushcha Saka Tvameva Vidya Dravya You alone are knowledge and wealth. O God of gods, you alone are everything. Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmana va prakrita svabhavat karomi adyat sakalam parasme narayanaya yeti samarpayami. Om, I am of sin, confusion, duality. My actions are of duality. O Savior and Protector, O great consciousness, take away all sin. I know nothing of mantra. I know nothing of good conduct. I know nothing of devotion. O Supreme Goddess, please accept the worship that we offer. Om papoham papakarmaham papatma papasambhava trahimam pundarikaksham sarva papa haro hari. Om mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam sureshwari yat pujitam maya devi paripurnam tadastu me. You alone are the perceivable supreme divinity. I speak the nectar of immortality. May I speak the truth. May this body be your instrument. May this mouth be your instrument. May the divine always be with us. Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi. Tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami. Ritam vadishyami. Satyam vadishyami. Tanamam avatu. Tarvaktaram avatu. Avatu mam avatu vaktaram. May the Lord protect us. Grant us enjoyment of all actions. May we be granted the strength to work together, and may our studies be thorough and faithful. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vimishavahe. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurmamritangamaya. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Shantu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Gurura Brahma, Gurura Vishnu, Gurura Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. And together we chant Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
blasting the mic for people who are watching at home.
Turn it down.
So we had to turn down our mic.
So before we end this part, it's good to keep in mind that whenever you do a puja, it's turning on a lot of deep things in the unconscious and subconscious, parts that don't usually get turned on. So if you found yourself yawning or tired or emotions clashing or pain coming out, that is the work of this pushing. So if for tonight at least you weren't in a part of that cycle, because that happens, you get both sides. Sometimes you get the pain shifting through and pushing, things to look at. Those are the things in this respect in the way of Lakshmi being a consistent part of life, light being a consistent part of life, since this is the celebration of light, infinite goodness. So when we attune to a certain type of an energy and you feel like it's hard either to attune to, or you can attune but you feel it pushing a lot of stuff, a lot of heaviness, those are the things that are in the way of having a consistent attunement. Which is fine. It just means it's a part of the journey, and work through it the best that you can. When those things go, then you establish a deeper connection with whatever it is that you are focusing upon. So this process happens over and over again until it becomes kind of a permanent connection, and you don't go through that process anymore of upheaval of things. So sometimes you'll have the upheaval bit, and that happens not just on the time of puja. He's fine though. But sometimes it happens on the day of puja, or of a retreat or an event where there's deeper processing involved, and other times it happens as kind of leading up to, so you can go through a lot of kind of growing pains prior to attending an event that has deeper spiritual kind of motions in it that pushes a lot of unconscious and subconscious. Many practices out there don't really go deep into the unconscious and subconscious, so it's usually it's a little easier to process. So when we're connected to a certain type of a gracefulness because of Sri Swamiji, because of our teacher, enlightened master, then it has process you get put into. So sometimes the process can be difficult, other times it can be awesome, wonderful, pulls you out. So whenever you feel bad, just think of this guy. And obviously too, if you're not feeling any of that and you just feel good and clean and kind of focused on positivity, then it just goes that direction. So all is good, whatever happens. In the name of process, true spiritual path, you feel good and bad, just like life. It's just that this is contained and processing towards your eventual enlightenment, versus normal life. It's just a hodgepodge mess of things that aren't dealt with when we don't really look into them to resolve. So when you're on some sort of a healing journey, at least they're in process, en route to resolution. So anyway, just to kind of put that out there. So also too, if anyone wakes up and feels like a truck ran over them, then you'll kind of say, oh, okay, maybe that makes a little bit of sense. Maybe that's today. Because when a lot of things move, it creates space, which is great. But in that space, often other types of subconscious and unconscious material flow into that. And then that's just day 2 to look at and process. So the more you do it, the easier it becomes. All right, well, it's wonderful celebrating this with you. Happy Diwali. This guy. Come up. Oh my gosh.
There we go. He's got it.
He's heavier than he used to be. He's got it.
Linus says happy Diwali.
He sees the cats
Everyone
eating
at
and he gets
home.
jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice having everyone online join us.
Yes,
Yay.
it is.
Wishing you all happy Diwali, and that's it.
Happy Diwali, bye-bye.
Until next time.
All right, many blessings. Namaste.